you have a relatively large water dish, like I do, down there, you're going to want to make sure that if they go in it, they're going to be able to get out, because you don't want them to drown. Yes, an iguana can hold their breath around 30 minutes underwater. They can also fill up their body with air, so they'll float on top of the water, and it looks kind of creepy because they look dead when they do this. It's a very, very interesting thing that they do. They will literally fill their body up with air, and they will just float on top of the water. But if you ever see your iguana floating on top of the water like that, it may mean that they can't get out. So you want to make sure before you put the water dish in there, or after you put the water dish in there, that they'll be able to get out some way. Now it's easy. So I'm going to take Tweak here, and I'm going to put him in the water. Now I don't think Tweak likes water, but we'll be able to see if he can get out or not. If he struggles, we'll just take him out. Otherwise, he'll be able to get out by himself. Come on. And as you can see, he didn't like that too much, but he got out, which is good. So he can get out of the water, which means I don't really necessarily have to add anything. I will anyway, to make it a little easier, but he was able to get out, which is good. Now with the water, you're going to want to treat the water. You need to dechlorinate the water because the chlorine is bad for them. Right now, I am just using this. I don't know if it works good or if it works better. All I know is that when you're at a pet store and you're looking at a bunch of white bottles and they all look the same, the blue one stands out. And you're like, oh hey, that's what I need. That's what I did. I've used this on a frog, and chlorine's even worse for them because they absorb it right through their skin. And my frog isn't dead, so I imagine that it works. And Tweak hasn't been harmed at all by it at all. Tweak is pretty healthy. Live plants. You can use live plants in the cage. Just make sure that they aren't toxic to a reptile. The number one thing you'd probably be worried about is the soil that is planted in. And also, they will damage the plant with their claws, so you just gotta make sure it's a plant that can withstand that damage. This plant here, there's soil right here, and it's loose, and he could eat it. If you're gonna use a live plant, I would recommend that you watch your iguana and make sure that they are not eating the soil. I've seen Tweak down there a bunch of times, and he's only down there to get up, and he doesn't even think about eating it at all. So just make sure that they are not eating it, and you can have it in there. If they are eating it, take it out immediately and don't put it back in. Replace it with a fake plant or something else, or find a way that you could cover the soil without the plant dying. All the foliage you see in here, so all the leaves, everything, except for from that one plant, are fake. You can get multiple fake plants from a pet store. But the number one thing you want to make sure of is that the leaves or whatever foliage or whatever is on these fake plants, that they don't come off. Because they will climb on them and they could come off. They could try to pull it off with their mouth and try to eat it. So the number one thing you want is for it not to be able to come off. Because if it comes off, they can ingest it, and that will get impacted in their intestine, and it will take quite a bit to get it out. And doors or lids on your tank or other cage are important too. You want to make sure that they cannot get out of it. If you have doors that open like mine, make sure you latch them so you can't get out. I have 4 industrial strength magnetic latches these magnets are really strong, and there's no way he's going to be able to open these doors. So that's an idea. You could use actual latches to your hardware store and just look at it. See what will work with your current situation.